When I first signed up for African American literature and culture, I really didn't know what to expect from the class. Um, I know what I had been taught previously, but looking ahead, I was unsure of what the class would cover, who we would discuss, and things of that nature. Growing up, I remember authors and poets such as Langston Hughes, Gwendolyn Brooks, but I had never heard of poets such as Frances E.W. Harper or read any of her works or had heard of any of her works, um, such as the two authors from 1859. I thought that this book was really interesting. The parts that we did read of it, or I should say the short story, because it shows such a progressive view in regards to feminism and a woman thinking on her own, which was basically unheard of back in that time, but it just showed her thoughts and her progressive take on the world at that time. We Wear the Mask by Lawrence Dunbar, 1872, was also a work that I really enjoyed and left an impression on me this semester. I'll explain more why later on, but I definitely wanted to make mention of this poem. Moving on from literature onto the civil rights movement, Dr. Martin Luther King seemed to be at the forefront of what I was taught before this class with his nonviolence, we shall overcome, I have a dream speech. That seemed to be highlighted during my years of school, and everything else contrary to that, such as the Black Panther Party, was deemed to be negative. Other than the story, of course, of Rosa Parks and her refusal to give up her seat on the bus. I saw the movie X when I was younger, couldn't really remember it or much about Malcolm X, but really enjoyed listening to his 1964 speech, The Ballot or the Bullet. Just listening to his views on religion, on politics, on separatism and black nationalism. It was very, very enlightening, and I'll never forget that speech. I listened to it twice, actually. I had never heard of Fred Hampton or Stokely Carmichael, both leaders of the Black Panther Party and committed to the civil rights movement. But somehow these great leaders also fell through the cracks. I had never heard their names before this African American literature and culture class. I had two favorite texts in African American literature and culture. The Passing of Grandison by Charles W. Chestnut was just a really good story for me. I like the whole narrative of the story. The Grandison putting on a face of a happy slave and basically getting his reward in the end. Sometimes having to do that in our own lives, just to wear a mask to cope with things that we don't agree with or that we don't like or that may hurt us. I experienced that in high school when I had to transfer in my junior year from an all black and predominantly Hispanic school where I had a lot of friends to an all white school right in the middle of my high school, and it was a very tough time. My parents called me ungrateful for fighting against it and speaking out against it. So to keep the peace, of course, I wore a mask at home around my family, but then I also had to wear a mask in school around my peers because I couldn't really relate to them. They didn't look like me. They didn't talk like me. They drove nice cars. They had big houses. It was just a whole situation that I wasn't really used to, but I wore a mask in order to cope with the situation. My second choice is the autobiography of an ex-colored man by James Weldon Johnson. I chose this story because I thought it was a story of innocence, and I thought it was very sensitive, about a young man who didn't know who he was or what he was, and then finding out and having to cope with that. I just thought it was a very, very powerful story, and I really enjoyed this one as well. I'm very grateful for this class and what I've learned in this class. I feel like it is essential for me to open up a dialogue. As a matter of fact, I have opened up a dialogue with my three sons that I am raising on things that have happened in the past and things that may come. And I'm just trying to prepare them for that. And some of the things that I have gained in this class has actually helped me prepare for that. I have already started watching videos such as Alpha 21, which explain Black genocide. We have also watched the documentary on the Move movement, which created discussion and dialogue with my children. It is very important for me to have these discussions because I am raising three young Black men. There are so many other places where they can get their influence from: music, videos, and things of that nature. I feel that it's very important for them to turn to me for awareness, understanding, and consciousness. And I feel that taking African American literature has even helped me as a parent to better prepare them, because we all know that awareness is empowering.